I'm Laura Owenby. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm a platinum leader with Young Living, and tonight I'm going to be sharing with you the brand new Savvy Minerals makeup. Young Living has offered this makeup to us, and it has the same exact standard of purity that all of the other products has to offer. So it's been really fun to learn. Um, I'm not a makeup person. I was the kind of person that I would put makeup on when I had something kind of important, and as soon as I came home, I would take it off. But I've never used a mineral makeup, so I had that little bit of learning curve too, and I've really enjoyed getting to learn how to use the makeup. So here we go. The way this class will work is that I have a little bit of a presentation to share with you. I think it'll take 20 minutes or so. I'm going to share with you some of the common ingredients that are used in today's typical makeups and how they harm the body. And then I'm going to share with you how Savvy Minerals is different. And you're going to see that none of the ingredients are the same. They're two completely different animals. And we'll talk a little bit about how to choose your colors, how to apply your makeup. And right now we are recording this class for playback. So at the end of that, we'll close the recording and then we'll hang around and answer any questions that you'll have about how you would use the makeup or what colors you might like best. All right, so do we really have to be concerned with the type of makeup we put on our body? Well, here's the deal. Several years ago, when we had a 4-year-old and 2-year-old twins, we were put in the position where it became very clear that what you put in and on your body is important. At the time, one of our 2-year-olds suddenly lost all of her hair. It went white and brittle and fell out by the handful. And she went through significant testing, and several months passed. And finally, she was given a genetic hair diagnosis. And we were told that there was nothing that we could do, that if we were lucky, she would outgrow it during puberty. And we had already experienced some pretty serious health challenges at that point. And I realized I had to start making really serious changes for my family because we were living in constant fear. We didn't know what was going to happen next. And so the first change that we made was I removed wheat from our diet. And after that, we started cleaning chemicals out of the home. And within 6 weeks, Leah's hair started growing back. And today, you would never know that she had a genetic hair disorder. And so we're able to manage that largely by the types of nutrition and what we put in our home and what we allowed her to put in and on her body. And so we had made significant changes, and I had really removed chemicals from our home. But my last holdout was makeup. And I felt like, it's just me that it affects. And I only wore it part of the time, really as little as possible. So really, I just kind of hung on to what I had. I really had not found another makeup line that I felt like it was a good trade, like it was really cleaning up the problem. And when Young Living offered the makeup this past summer, it was a huge relief. It was like, okay, all of a sudden I have an option. And I had already started wondering, what am I going to let our girls wear? Our oldest is 11 now, and I knew that she would start asking to wear makeup, and I wasn't going to let her wear what I was wearing. So this was a huge answer to prayer. So let's talk a little bit about some of the common ingredients that are in today's makeup. The first is talc. Y'all, it is a known respiratory irritant. It is specifically known to damage cells in the epithelial lining of the lungs. And talc may contain asbestos, which is a known carcinogen. You may be familiar with the recent Facebook shared post about the woman that had sued Johnson & Johnson because of the talc in the baby powder that she had used. And she was awarded a significant settlement because the jury did find that they were negligent in allowing the possibility of talc containing such a carcinogen in their product. Typical makeups do use talc. It's used because it makes things nice and smooth. That's great for makeup, but not if it's trailing along with some asbestos, right? Another common ingredient in today's makeup is bismuth, We like to use bismuth because it is the shimmery metallic color. That's how we get all those pretty eyeshadows, and it's even put in lipstick. And y'all, we put that on our lips. I mean, that ends up going in the mouth, right? And the problem with bismuth, y'all, is that it affects fertility, and specifically, it affects male fertility. If you think about it, it's women who are carrying our baby boys, right? And we want to make sure that our babies are born just as healthy as possible. It's estimated that an infant is born with as many as 200 to 300 chemicals in their systems, and that's just what they've come in contact with through the mother during the pregnancy and birth. So this is an ingredient that we can absolutely clean up and improve the quality of health. Something that's really important with makeup, as well as just any type of personal care product, is the size of the particles in those ingredients. Bismuth is what's called a nanoparticle. Nanoparticles can enter the bloodstream. A nanoparticle is so tiny that it takes 9 lined up side by side to be the width of a hair. So these bismuth particles can go right into the bloodstream, and that's what's affecting fertility. It's also a known skin irritant. Next up, we've got gluten. We know that gluten is often a trigger for today's autoimmune conditions. It is known to be a skin irritant. We like to use gluten in our makeup because just like it does when we cook or bake, it sticks to stuff, right? It makes things thick and plump. We eat too many rolls, hey, guess what? The belly's gonna get thick and plump. The same thing with the gluten. It plumps the skin. But it's that skin irritant. It's known to trigger autoimmune issues. Another common ingredient are the parabens and phthalates. Parabens and phthalates are often used because it makes skin nice and plump. It's often slick, and so that's great for makeups. However, they are known hormone disruptors. When tissue is tested from breast cancer tumors, they often are found to have large numbers of paraben particles. We talk more about hormone disruption in the Lucy Libido class. I'm doing that class February 10th and 11th here locally. So if you are a local friend, feel free to come to that. Other common ingredients are the petrochemicals and mineral oils. Y'all, petrochemicals are the same as the type of gasoline that we put into our cars. They are derived from the same type of ingredients. And I know when I go to put gas in my car, if I get gas on my hand, I start kind of freaking out. It's like, oh gosh, I gotta get this washed off, right? But that's in our makeup, and then the makeup is going on our faces. It's a known neurotoxin, which means that it can affect the brain and spinal tissue, the nerves, and it's also a known hormone disruptor. We can do better than this, y'all. Common makeups also have all the synthetic dyes for colors and fragrances, and we know that anytime you're using a synthetic substance of any type, it puts hardship on the organs that are there to cleanse the body. So we're talking your liver, your gut, your lungs. Those organs are put under hardship when we're putting these synthetic ingredients on our skin. None of these ingredients are in Savvy Minerals makeup. It is absolutely synthetic free. So, what are the ingredients of Savvy Minerals? Each product contains 3 to 5 ingredients. And y'all know, if you've looked at many labels, there aren't many things in this world that only have 3 to 5 ingredients. And we have this beautiful, beautiful makeup that is made with just the 3 to 5 ingredients each. One of the most important ingredients of Savvy Minerals is mica mineral. So mica comes from rock. If you think about it, the rocks of this world are all these gorgeous colors, right? Mica is the color of our makeup. The awesome thing about mica is that it is not a nanoparticle. is a big old fat particle, so it does not go into the skin. It sits on top of the skin, and we still are able to get those really pretty shimmery colors. The other thing that's really cool about mica is that because it's sitting on the skin, it actually creates a protective barrier, and mica is known to have a little bit of SPF to it. So in your makeup, you're going to have a little bit of SPF protection. Young Living tests for a lot of things in all of our products, but we don't test for the specific amount of SPF in any particular batch of our colors. So you do still need to wear your sunscreen. We have that awesome mineral sunscreen. You can mix that with some of your foundation and make a really great liquid foundation to put on. And that way you'll be having your full sunscreen in your makeup. The mica is really fantastic because it is completely blendable. You can mix and match colors. I like the warm number 2 and the dark number 1. For me, the dark number 1 is just a little bit too dark. And if I mix those two colors together, then I get a really great foundation color that served well during the summertime when I was outside. So you can mix these minerals and make your own custom colors. As long as you are keeping your little jars of minerals clean and you're not double dipping your brushes, these makeups last a long time. You're not contaminating because you're actually emptying the mineral out onto a separate surface. And that was one of my complaints about typical makeups. I always had to throw my makeup away before I finished it because I didn't wear it a whole lot and it had such a short lifespan. Y'all, the best thing about Savvy Minerals, I think, is that it feels awesome on the skin. Like, I've never experienced a makeup like that. Even at the end of the day, your skin feels so soft. Because our mica is completely from a rock, our makeup line is totally cruelty-free. There are no animal products involved. In addition to the mica, we use arrowroot powder and kaolin clay. Now, if you've done a lot of gluten-free baking, then you have probably used arrowroot powder at some point. It is a gluten-free type of flour, and it really soothes the skin. So does the kaolin clay. So we see a lot of redness in the skin that really clears up on its own because we're no longer using the ingredients that were irritating it, and we're actually using something that soothes and nourishes the skin. All right, there's going to be a couple ingredients on your Savvy Minerals products that you might look at and think, oh, what's that? Two of them, the titanium oxide. So titanium oxide that we use is non-nanoparticle. When you see titanium oxide in the rest of the world, it is typically a nanoparticle. It's those tiny particles, it's going straight into the bloodstream. We use the non-nanoparticles, so it's going to sit on top of your skin, and it is a form that is regarded across the board as safe for ingestion and consumption. The potassium sorbate, let's talk a little bit about that. We use the potassium sorbate because it's a known preservative. It's known to kill bacteria, so that's going to help keep our makeup clean. But the cool thing about it is that it simply comes from a fruit. Now, in the rest of the world, we use fruits that are genetically modified and sprayed with pesticides, but not with Young Living. We use completely organic and synthetic-free fruits, and there is no type of chemical that's ever been sprayed on it. So this is a really good option for a preservative in our makeup. Now here's a question I didn't know that I should even ask before I started using the Savvy Minerals. But here's something I want you to think about. Mica comes from rocks in the earth, and heavy metals can be found in the earth. And we know that heavy metals are known neurotoxins. So how can we be sure that the mica that's in our jar of makeup doesn't have any heavy metal that's being pulled along with it? And the awesome thing is that because this is a Young Living product, it's tested in the same way as our essential oils. So it goes through 3 rounds of testing. The same type of equipment is used. And that way we actually take, it's called an inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometry. And so there's this machine, and we take our mica and put it on the tray below, and it is zapped with heat, like heat of the sun, hot. And it breaks down whatever's on the tray into its very basic elements. Elements as in basic chemistry type of elements. So if you have, for example, a Ningxia wolfberry that our Ningxia Red's made from, then that breaks down into water and sugar because it's that clean fruit. And if we zap the mica mineral, then we know if there's any heavy metal, it will be laying on the tray and that batch would be discarded. Okay, so that's how we're sure that our makeups are clean and safe. Another question that you might ask is this makeup organic? Now, that question is really not relevant to mineral makeup. And the reason is that mica comes from rock, and so it's not an organic substance. Organic means that it is just carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen. It's just those basic elements. That's not true of rock, right? So this is an inorganic substance, but it's still completely clean. Does that make sense? Okay, some of you may be wondering, is the makeup vegetarian and vegan? And all of the powders are both. The only exception, the lipstick, the lip gloss, and the mascara have some beeswax in them because they work well to protect the skin and the eyelashes. So they're not vegan, they're still vegetarian. So that's the difference between the two types of typical makeup versus our heavy minerals. Completely different type of substance. All right, you may be wondering, how long is this makeup going to last me? Keep it away from humidity, keep it away from sunlight, keep your brushes clean. And if you do that, your makeup's going to last a long time. I'll be honest, I think I have replaced 2 of my eyeshadows twice, and I've had it about 6 months now, and I've just recently replaced it. I replaced my foundation once, but everything else I still have plenty of. Something that I would suggest is that when you get your makeup, it comes with little white stickers on it. Poke some holes in that sticker and use that to sift out your powder. If you remove the entire sticker, you're going to have a lot of waste because there's just too much powder that shakes out. And so that's a way to not waste your product. All right, before you put your makeup on, you're going to want to put on a primer. The Renewal Serum is amazing. If you've never tried that, it feels great on the skin. It has some orchid oil, so it smells wonderful, and it just makes your skin feel really soft. It's also a little bit sticky for just a minute until it dries. And by using that primer, that gives something for your minerals to stick to. Okay. Let's see. Let me get this to where I can see y'all. Maybe. All right, here we go. So one of the questions you may have as you start using your makeup is, how do I know what foundation color to use? Now, here is a chart to kind of give you a guideline. You're going to be warm, likely, if you wear a lot of gold jewelry, if you have blonde, red, brown, or black hair, and if you tan easy. You'll likely be cool if your veins in your wrist look more blue than green, and you tend to find yourself wearing a lot of silver, white, and black. You probably have dark blonde, dark brown, dark black hair, and your skin may burn first and then tan. Okay, so that's the overall guideline. Now, something that I would suggest, I've color matched about 300 women at this point. And what I find is that the women who have any bit of pink or redness in their skin color, the warm colors really blend that so that the redness goes away and it looks really beautiful. So some of them were wearing cool shades from different makeup lines, our cool makeup has some pink in it. So it tends to work well if your skin has a yellow undertone. So you want to think of that as well. That's an important consideration. Um, to share a little bit of my experience so far, very few of the women I've color matched have matched for cool number one. Cool number one is if you have a true white porcelain skin. We think about that porcelain skin, that's cool number one. It's very fair. It's never going to tan. And having a little bit of that pink in it may help it look not so fair. We do have some women who color match for cool number 2 and 3. But again, they typically have their skin that has a little bit of yellow undertone to it. A lot of the women I've color matched have matched for warms 1 and 2. So those are the colors that are going to be really great for toning down the redness. Warm 1 is pretty fair. And then warm number 3 is what I wore during summer. I would mix a little bit of warm 3 and sometimes even a little bit of dark 1 when I was out in the sun quite a bit. I use the dark 1 as my contour. And then we have 4 shades of dark powder. So we have a few varieties there. I believe that most women will probably want to have 2 or 3 foundations built up in their collection over time. I use, right now with it being winter time, I use warm 1 or 2 as my foundation. And then I have a couple little sunspots that I'm working on with my Sacred Frank. And until they are gone, I'm using cool number 1 to cover them up. So the cool colors can be really great for covering your sunspots. And then I take a dark number 1 over that concealer that I've made and blend that in so that it helps to cover up the dark pigmentations. All right, I'm going to share with you a 5-minute face video. This is led by the designer, the creator of Savvy Minerals makeup. Her name is Melissa Pepping, and she had actually created this makeup all on her own, and then Young Living bought it from her. And she had designed it. She had a modeling career years ago and got tired of wearing typical makeups, wanted a makeup that was clean and beautiful and high performing, and she designed the Savvy Minerals. So now with Young Living, we have access to that. She has several videos. She has a great Facebook page where she does tutorials.
You think you don't have enough time to put on makeup, but what if all you really needed was 5 minutes? Hi, my name is Melissa Pepping. Today I'm going to show you how to get a gorgeous look using 5 Savvy Minerals products in 5 minutes. Starting with your foundation, making sure your face is ready and primed, we're going to go ahead and spray your makeup brush. Tap your desired amount of Savvy Minerals foundation into the jar lid, swirl, and apply in circular motions to your face. Next, let's work on those eyes. Choose a simple, light, matte eyeshadow, such as Best Kept Secret. Now, put on some mascara. Make those eyes really pop. What about your lips? A simple, light gloss is just enough to finish off this look. Want to take it up another level? Let's add some definition to the eyes with eyeliner, followed as close to the eyelash line as possible. And let's make those cheeks really glow with a light blush.
All right. I have a collection of videos I can share with you over in the Drop Stop. And I wanted to share with you tonight, real quick before class, kind of a crazy day. Yesterday and today were kind of crazy, actually, with it being the end of the month and the first day of the month. And so this was my quick 5-minute face. And what I find with the Savvy Minerals makeup is that it just makes me look a little bit fresher. You can absolutely get a theatrical coverage. You can get a full coverage if that's what you like as well. Um, but in general, if you do just a quick 5-minute face, then it just is very light, and I feel like I look a little bit more awake than if I'm not wearing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about colors. Today is a big day for Young Living. They've released a brand new premium starter kit, and it's wonderful, y'all. Each kit comes with one foundation, one blush, three eyeshadows, a lip gloss, the misting spray, the foundation brush, and a lavender oil. You may wonder, what's the lavender oil for? Oh, lavender oil is fantastic for eyelashes. We can talk about eyelash serum over in the Drop Stop. We have a good recipe for that. You can put that in your mascara. So this kit, if you were to purchase everything individually at retail price, it's about $263, and the kit is listed for $150. And it comes with all the typical Young Living perks. You get the wholesale pricing on anything else you'd ever like to order, and you get access to all of the member resources that we offer within our team. I put this kit first. There are 4 kits. They include the same types of products. The colors are different. Okay, so this is the kit that is closest to the colors that I'm wearing right now. The only difference is that I'm wearing the Warm Number 2 foundation. And so if I was starting out with Young Living, then I would need to get my separate foundation. But remember, I'm using that dark number 1 to help cover up the pigmentations that I have. So I'm still going to put that to great use. And we can talk more about specific makeup tips next week. We'll talk about a few tonight and then more next week. One of the really cool things that you can do with the makeup is you can take the misting spray, and the misting spray gives it a fuller coverage. So you can use your makeup dry with just your brush, and it's very light coverage. In terms of foundation, that's what I find that a lot of our teenage girls and college girls are using, just the powder foundation. The misting spray, you just spray your brush and dip it into your makeup. And the misting spray is an aloe base, and it just makes it have a really smooth finish. It helps it to adhere well, and it helps it to last all day. So with that misting spray, is going to make the color just a little bit more pigmented. And you can use that even with your eyeshadows. So that's kind of cool. You get a totally different look if you apply your eyeshadow dry or if you apply it with the misting spray. If you like a really full coverage foundation, take your moisturizer in the palm of your hand, sprinkle your foundation minerals into the moisturizer, and mix it up in your hand and apply it with a brush. And that is a true liquid foundation like you would buy in a bottle at a store. So that's really cool. Remember, we talked about how these makeups are so versatile. You can make your own liquid foundation. And that way, because you're mixing it day to day, it's not like a bottle that you've opened once and then 6 months later it's still sitting there. It's a fresh batch of makeup that you make each day. So I'm wearing the residual eyeshadow, the Determined eyeshadow, the Passionate blush, and then I also have the Multitasker eyeshadow. And so that is the incentive that I'm offering for our friends that enroll between tonight at the end of class and 9 p.m. tomorrow night Central Time. If any of my friends enroll with me, or if my team members have friends who enroll with them, I'm offering one free eyeliner. So either the Dark Multitasker, or there's a true black eyeliner as well, the Jet Setter. So what you'll do is you place your order for your premium starter kit, and then there will be a Google Doc in the Drop Stop. We'll add you to the Drop Stop so you have access to all of our resources to know how to use your makeup. You'll claim your eyeshadow, your eyeliner on the Google Doc, and then we'll get that sent to you, okay? So that's something fun that I wanted to offer. All right, another premium starter kit is with the Cool Number 2 blush or foundation. And so you can see that the colors are just a little bit different. You still have those key components. The Warm Number 2 foundation, again, common thread is we've got that best kept secret. And then there's also a dark number 4 color set. They are all beautiful. I have all of the eyeshadows. I have used all of them at some point or another. So I think this is a really good collection to get started with. And then over time, you can add individual pieces as you like. All righty, y'all. So this is my contact information. If you would like to order your premium starter kit, this is the link, bit.ly/Laura ONB Young Living. And if someone has referred you to this video, let me know and I'll get you matched up with them. And what we'll do now is stop the recording and head over to our group so we can have a little chat about specific questions you all may have.